What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, then welcome to the channel. So for the past 3 weeks, I've been trying to do an episodic series over on TikTok called Where in the Fuck is Project Epoch? And in the episode I pushed out this morning, I said that I would go over a more detailed opinion and explanation as to what's going on with the merger of Project Epoch and Ascension WoW. So if you have been following Project Epoch, then even if you haven't, you're probably well aware of the last 3 weeks of complete chaos. It hasn't been good. It has not been good. People have not been happy with what's going on, and after the failed test last weekend, they decided they need help, and I think that was probably for the best. Who they're getting the help from, that's where things get a little bit shaky. So I have known about Project Ascension for, I don't even know. Since back when I thought private servers were a dirty place where only people would play on them if they didn't like World of Warcraft and they wanted instant gear and instant max level and stuff like that. Basically, about 7, 8 years ago, I first heard about Project Ascension. And I had seen what other private servers did, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm not playing on private servers. As time went on, I started messing around on more classic realized private servers, and I became pretty much a primarily private server player when it comes to World of Warcraft. When they launched the classic clients, I went back to that for a bit. I don't really like what Blizzard's doing to the game. I thought Season of Discovery was a fucking joke. And so Project Epoch, it sounded good. You know, it sounded like the right amount of change with also the right amount of real old school RPG elements, which, in all honesty, that's what we're looking for when it comes to MMOs, especially the classic and the private server community. We're looking for long-term character development, and I don't mean mentally, emotionally, or that kind of shit. I want to see my character get stronger. I want to see my gear improve, and I want to see the work that I put in. You don't get that feeling in retail. I've put the majority of my WoW playing time, almost all of it in the past couple years, onto Turtle WoW. Turtle WoW has been my primary home for World of Warcraft. When I heard about Project Epoch, I made the decision that I was going to, as soon as it released, step away from Turtle WoW and rotate into Project Epoch. I was very excited, very, very excited for this server to launch. I was able to get in the first day that it launched. I got up to about level 8, and then the servers died and continued to die every single time they tried to turn them back on, which was unfortunate. It was very frustrating for a lot of people. I myself even put out a video that I took down either the same day or the next morning, because I realized that maybe I was going a little bit too hard. There was no reason for me to respond the way that I did. I was frustrated. I was irritated. I was mad. Mostly because it seemed like we were getting lied to. And I still feel like that's what happened. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, what can you do really? You know? They were trying to save face. Obviously, the best way to do it is honesty, because if you try to save face, especially in the way that they did, you're going to be called out on it. People are going to see through the facade, and people are going to be irritated. They're going to be mad more that you're deceiving them or attempting to than they will about the situation at hand if you were just honest about it. Just instead of this whole post, all you needed to say was, hey, we tried turning them on. They broke again. We're shutting them down. We don't know what's going on. Give us the weekend to figure it out. That's all this. That's all. That's all of this. That's all that needed to be said. So it was very obvious to me that they were just a little bit in over their head. Would the servers have gone up and worked fine if they wouldn't have gotten overloaded with the amount of people trying to join the project? No. No, the servers still would have been broken. The same issues would have happened. Would the servers have worked if they wouldn't have put Garibashi on there? Because I know I saw a lot of people saying that Garibashi... Well, actually, no. The problems weren't happening on Garibashi. They were happening on the PvE server. The PvE server is what initiated the initial crash. And, well, the PvE server was the only server that came up, again, until the last stress test, in which, again, on the PvE server, someone walked into the wrong spot and it just unraveled the code. At least that's what we're being told. That's what we're being told, not by the devs, but by the people that were actually in playing the game. And, you know, obviously you can't really... It's difficult to say who's telling the truth and who's lying, but just with this right here, I'm going to say that I'm going to believe someone else over that. That is very obvious. Now, the rest of this, that could be completely true, but this part right here, we know without a shadow of a doubt, that was a lie. And that's going to dissuade a lot of people. Now, after this big failure of the last attempted launch that happened on the 8th, they came back and let us know that they were going to be merging with Ascension. Project Ascension was bringing Project Epoch under their umbrella. Is this a good merger? It's hard to say. Now, Project Ascension has, in my opinion, rightfully so, earned a fair amount of negative press in the past for a lot of different reasons. The main reason I don't like them, it's basically Season of Discovery Plus, and if you want to, you can essentially buy your way to the top. And I mean, granted, that's how retail servers are too, and, you know, there's backroom deals that happen with a lot of private servers, but Ascension's kind of out in the open in your face about it. Like, they don't try to hide it. They're not doing backroom deals. It's just like, hey, you want to win? Give me your credit card number. You know, and it's not the best. I don't like it, but that's just me. Now, we are being told that with this merger with Project Ascension and Project Epoch, that Ascension will be holding, or Epoch will be holding all of the rights, essentially. Meaning they have the final say of what gets put in the server, of what gets put in the shop, and everything like that. Ascension is basically just giving them the storefront to sell their goods how they see fit. This is how it's being presented to us right now. Do I see this changing in the future? I would say it's about an 80% probability that in the future, Ascension starts to seep into Epoch. Now, if this is the case, it's going to be one of those situations where the larger player base, I would expect a lot of them to step away. You know, depending on what it is, obviously. If they have pay for convenience things, I could see people sticking around and just ignoring them for the most part. Kind of like in Turtle WoW. You know, in Turtle WoW, you can buy a mobile auction house, mobile vendor, all this kind of shit that you can have with you. I use them. I mean, I didn't consider using them until I started farming SFK and Black Fathom Deeps, trying to build a twink. At that point, I was like, okay, I have to get a vendor, a fucking vendor merchant. I have to get an auction house merchant. Because at that point, you're doing one run, flying to town, flying back, doing one run. So it depends on how far they go with it, really. I hope that nothing like that gets added. I'm going to be completely honest. If that wasn't an option in Turtle WoW, then I would just be flying back and forth a shit ton, you know? But because it is an option, people are going to invest in it. If you're telling me I can save 20 minutes each run by purchasing this fucking vendor that I can just click and summon him and sell stuff, I'm going to if I'm doing, you know, fucking 30 runs a day. Like, it's just... It's sorry, time is money, friend. You know, it's one of those things. So it's difficult to give a full in-depth opinion on the merger because we don't know how it's going to play out. We truly don't. At this point, all we can really do is hope that Ascension sticks to their word and Epoch sticks to their guns. And they keep Epoch. I don't know where at in these, but they have said that basically, right here. Are you guys 100% serious that you won't expand Epoch shop in any way? Project Epoch has full control over what will go into their shop. From what they have told me, their plan is to lean into cosmetics that fit aesthetically in the vanilla world, not looking like retail. Epic has a specific vision of more pure, unaffected Classic Plus experience. The appeal and value of having Project Epoch in the Ascension ecosystem is actually completely lost if that pure, unaffected Classic Plus experience is jeopardized. It is in Ascension's best interests if it adheres to their vision. This is 100,000,000,000,000% true. I think, I truly believe that the team behind Ascension, they looked at what was going on with Epoch, and their immediate thought was, this is how we get 60,000+ more people going on to our launcher. That's not a bad business decision. If I told you that by, you know, offering to let this person come into your store and set up a booth, and it would bring 3 times, 2 times, just even 1 additional times your daily foot traffic, as a business owner, you would 100% agree to that. Because the more people that go into your store are the more people that are likely to purchase your products. Now, do I see the majority or even a large portion of Project Epoch players hopping onto Ascension and investing their money into the Ascension game? Absolutely not. But the market value, not dollar value, the market value of Project Ascension will increase dramatically just simply having Project Epoch under their umbrella. And if they can allow Project Epoch to operate and run the servers the way that they want to, I truly do believe it is going to be a profitable venture for both parties, as well as us, the consumers. Now, whether they will continue to see things that way and adhere to it, that's where the hangup gets. Because at any point in time with this merger, Ascension can come in and be like, hey, listen, you're not bringing in as many people as you were before. We need you to add this. We need you to offer this. We need you to promote this on your server. That is a very, very high likelihood to happen in the future. Now, again, I will repeat myself until I'm blue in the face. We hope that doesn't happen. But we have zero control over that happening or not. What we can do is vote with our wallet. If they start doing that and they see a massive player drop off, then that's when they decide, oh shit, maybe this was a bad idea. And then they don't do that. That's the hope. That's the hope that if this goes that way, that's what they realize. Again, it's a hope. So one of the biggest things that got me excited about this was I thought we were looking at another few weeks, potentially month, before being able to hop in and play Epoch. And I just want to read through and show you just what has happened today. So Epoch Tech Status Update. All of the baseline needed performance improvements have been implemented to Epoch. Further improvements need to be made based on data. All right. So from there, metrics for creatures, maps, spells, items, and more have been implemented to make proper performance graphs for the stress test. This means when the stress test happens, there will be a clear picture of what still needs improved. A full pass to fix up core exploits and dupes is being done concurrently. This also comes with really extensive logging to be able to reverse any exploits that could occur after launch. A lot of dependencies have been upgraded because usually these cores have very old versions of software that open up a lot of vulnerabilities. This is true. Configs have been synced to be able to fully use the new hardware. Authentication rewrites for compatibility with Ascension servers is almost done. And this is the big one. The remaining servers have been delivered. The game plan is having capacity during launch to release up to 8 realms. Now, if they are looking at we'll say, I think they're expecting about 5 to 7, like what Epoch was saying, 5 to 7,000. But 8 realms, that should be able to easily hold 80,000 plus players. That's fantastic. That does not mean that there will be 8 realms at launch, just that they will be ready for deployment as needed. As noted before, realms will be opened as needed during launch and then merged efficiently if needed afterwards. This almost feels like your buddy that's trying to fix his car and he keeps failing and he keeps failing. And then finally he takes it to a mechanic. It seems like, and this, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound mean, but it's not the way that I mean it. It seems like the professionals have taken over. We all are aware that the team behind Project Epoch are not professionals. This was a passion project for them. This was a hobby for them to embark on and try to create. Ascension is a fully funded team that runs this server. The professionals have come in, and it seems to me like they're doing the things that need to be done. In fact, Project Epoch is already accessible and available for pre-download for the stress test that seems to be happening this weekend. You can start pre-downloading the client for future stress tests and launch. This requires a launcher update to show up. Right now, it autoplays the other video from our class list. Just ignore that. It will be removed next revision. Pre-download now to make sure you can game on launch. This is just saying I've not had the time to reroute an existing Epoch client, yada, yada, yada. If you want to be the brave soul who tries for the stress test in the next 2 days, you can. It took Epoch, was it 3 weeks? 2 weeks? To convert their stuff from Windows to Linux, sync everything up, get it online, for us to nuke the servers again within a couple minutes of it being on. They reached out to Ascension. 4 days later, Epoch is on the launcher. They seem to have everything ready to go pretty much. And we're looking at a stress test on the 15th. Now, what's going to be hilarious is when they launch on the 17th. And why that will be hilarious to me is because that is also the day that Turtle WoW's new PvE, RP PvE server launches. Now, this RP PvE server is not bringing anything new that you couldn't get on Nordranar already. However, well, except for the 1.18 update, which is coming out on the 15th. So the 15th is going to be the 1.18 update for Turtle. And then the 17th is the launch of the new realm. I was talking to my wife about this while we were working today. You know, we're driving the truck around town, delivering our cookies and crackers. And she's like, well, what if it launches this weekend? Isn't this weekend the same launch weekend as Turtle's new server? And I'm like, yep. Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting to see. Turtle WoW has a very, very, very strong, reliable player base. I'm interested to see how Epoch does. Because to be honest, I think Epoch just needs to be turned on as early as possible. The earlier it can get turned on, the earlier the hype will return. These guys have created something phenomenal from what we can see. Once we're able to get on and actually put some real time in the server, I think that's when people will realize that, you know, all the bullshit that we went through to get to this point. I mean, fuck it. We're here now. Let's just hop in and play. Anyways, that's kind of my whole opinion on the whole thing. You know, hope for the best. Prepare to go back to Turtle, I guess. I feel like the server, as long as they can keep the pay-to-win aspects and the Ascension aspects out of this server, being under Ascension's umbrella was the best option that they had. It was the smartest option that they had. And I mean, even if you just, I gotta show you this because it makes me so happy. This is my Ascension launcher right here. Live. Oh, it's not showing up. So there we go. Live. Project Epoch. It is in this drop down. It's not showing on here, but yeah, there you go. Get it downloaded. Download Project Ascension, at least the launcher, and then get that drop down to Project Epoch. Download it. Get ready to get in. You know, we got just a couple days. Just a couple days till we get back in, boys. We're getting there. We're getting close. I hope to see y'all in there. Gurubashi Horde for the win. Let's go, boys. Let's fucking go.